गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन यमुना तीरा बनचारी यमुना तीरा बनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यं विष्णुं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरो वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सर्वणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेव श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां शरणं श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त श्रीराधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी श्रीराधाय वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये ॐ वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। So today we are reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, verse 7. So chapter 5 is Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. And we are reading verse number 7. Yoga Yukto Visuddhatma
Yoga Yukto Vishuddhatma
Jitatma Jitendriya
Vijitatma Jitendriya
Sarvabhutatma Bhutatma
Sarvabhutatma Bhutatma
Kurvannapi na lipyate.
Kurvannapi na lipyate.
Now someone else can read.
Yoga Yukto Go ahead, Mata. Yoga Yukto Vishuddhatma
Yoga Yukto Vishuddhatma
Vijitatma Jitendriya
Vijitatma Jitendriya
Sarvabhutatma Bhutatma
Sarvabhutatma Bhutatma
Kurvannapi na lipyate.
Kurvan api na lipyate. Yoga Yukto Vishuddhatma
Yoga Yukto Vishuddhatma
Vijitatma Jitendriya
Vijitatma Jitendriya
Sarvabhutatma Bhutatma
Sarvabhutatma Bhutatma
Kurvan api na lipyate.
Kurvannapi na lipyate.
Now we can read word by word meaning. Yoga Yukta,
Yoga Yukta
engaged in devotional service.
engaged in
Engaged in devotional service.
Visuddha Atma,
Vishuddha
Vishuddhatma,
the purified soul.
a
a
purified
purified
soul.
soul.
Vijita Atma,
Vijita Atma,
self-controlled.
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 Jitendriya,
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 having conquered the senses.
having
having
conquered
conquered the
senses.
senses.
Sarvabhuta,
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 to all living entities.
to
to
all
all
living.
living entities.
Atma Bhuta Atma,
Atmabhuta Atma,
compassionate,
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 Kurvan Api,
Kurvanapi,
although engaged in work,
although
although
engaged in work.
na, never,
no,
No,
never,
never.
Lipyate,
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 is entangled.
he is
is entangled.
entangled.
We can read translation by His Divine Grace, S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Sri Prabhupada. One who works in devotion, who is a pure soul, and who controls his mind and senses, is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled. One more time. One who works in devotion, who is a pure soul, and who controls his mind and senses, is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled. This is very good verse. And Bhagavan Krishna says this after Arjun asked this question. In the beginning of this chapter, Arjun asked this question in the first verse. Oh Krishna, first of all, you asked me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work with devotion. And now you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial. So then Bhagavan Krishna started replying here, as we read in previous verses. The renunciation of work and work in devotion, both are good for liberation. Renunciation of work and work in devotion. But of the two, work in devotional service is better than renunciation of work. And in another verse, he says, third verse, one who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities is known to be always renounced. Such a person, free from all dualities, easily overcomes material bondage and is completely liberated. O mighty Arjuna. In number 4 verse, only the ignorant speak of devotional service, karma yoga, as being different from the analytical study of the material world, Sankhya. Those who are actually learned say that he who applies himself well to one of these paths achieves the results of both. One who knows the position reached by means of analytical study can also be attained by devotional service, and who therefore sees analytical study and devotional service to be on the same level, sees things as they are. Merely renouncing all activities yet not engaging in the devotional service of the Lord cannot make one happy. But a thoughtful person engaged in devotional service can achieve the supreme without delay. Wow. And then in the current verse, our Supreme Father says that one who works in devotion, who is a pure soul, and who controls his mind and senses is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled. So here, man means man and women both. Let's read the purport by His Divine Grace, Prabhupada. One who is on the path of liberation by Krishna consciousness is very dear to every living being, and every living being is dear to him. This is due to his Krishna consciousness. Such a person cannot think of any living being as separate from Krishna. Just as the leaves and branches of a tree are not separate from the tree, he knows very well that by pouring water on the root of the tree, the water will be distributed to all the leaves and branches, or by supplying food to the stomach, the energy is automatically distributed throughout the body. Because one who works in Krishna consciousness is servant to all. He is very dear to everyone. And because everyone is satisfied by his work, he is pure in consciousness. Because he is pure in consciousness, his mind is completely controlled. And because his mind is controlled, senses are also controlled. Because his mind is always fixed on Krishna, there is no chance of his being deviated from Krishna. Nor is there a chance that he will engage his senses in matters other than the service of the Lord. He does not like to hear anything except topics relating to Krishna. He does not like to eat anything which is not offered to Krishna. And he just does not wish to go anywhere if Krishna is not involved. Therefore, his senses are controlled. A man of controlled senses cannot be offensive to anyone. One may ask, why then Arjuna offensive in battle to others? Was not he in Krishna consciousness? Arjuna was only superficially offensive because, as has already been explained in the second chapter, all the assembled persons on the battlefield would continue to live individually, as the soul cannot be slain. So, spiritually, no one was killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Only their dresses were changed by the order of Krishna, who was personally present. Bhagavan Ji was personally present there. Therefore, Arjun, while fighting on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, was not really fighting at all. He was simply carrying out the orders of Krishna in Krishna consciousness. Such a person is never entangled in the reaction of work. So let's discuss these. Systematically here, purport. So I think it's very clear. One who works in devotion, who is a pure soul, and who controls his mind and senses is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled. The main question is entangled, because we are getting entangled by doing all kind of work. Here, Yoga Yukto Visuddhatma, Vijitatma, Jitendriya. Vijitatma, Sarvabhutatma, Gurupanna Pinalitate. So, one who is on the path of liberation by Krishna consciousness is very dear to every living being. And every living being is dear to him. Because, as we discuss all the time, that Krishna consciousness is, or in God consciousness, we see Krishna in everybody's heart, and then we serve the people, especially devotees. This is due to his Krishna consciousness. So he see Krishna everywhere, he see God in everything. Such a person cannot think of any living being as separate from Krishna. So like Krishna said that I am seated in everybody's heart. Aham sarvasya chaham hridaya sannivishto. I am living, I am seated in everybody's heart. And also he said, aham bija pradapita. And Iswara sarva bhutanam hridaya se Arjun tishtati. Hey Arjun, Iswara, the controller, the supreme controller, is seated in everyone's heart. So then that person in Krishna consciousness cannot think of any living being as separate from Krishna. He even thinks all the energy of Krishna. Like in 7th chapter, Bhagavan Ji said, Bhumirapo analo vayu khang mano buddhireva cha ahankaram itiyam te bhinna prakriti astada. Says Bhumi, earth, apa, water, Bhumi apa anala, fire, Bhumi apa analo vayu, air, khang, sky, and then mana, buddhi and ahankar. These eight are my separated energy. Bhumirapo analo vayu khang mano buddhireva cha ahankaram itiyam te bhinna prakriti astada. He said these are eightfold my separated energy. And if you think everything is in these eight elements, the gross elements. So though we cannot see mind, intelligence, and false ego, they are considered grass. Prabhupada explains once in Bhagavad Mahapurana that though we don't see mind, there should be a way to see mind. If we try to see, there should be a far. So here Prabhupada said, such a person cannot think of any living being as separate from Krishna, because either we are part and parcel of Krishna, or our body or anything that we see in this world, they are Krishna's energy. They are mainly, we see 5 gross elements, and mind, intelligence, and false ego. Just as the leaves and branches of a tree are not separate from the tree, similarly, we can think of that nothing is separate from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. He knows very well that by pouring water on the root of the tree, the water will be distributed to all the leaves and branches, or by supplying the food to the stomach, the energy is automatically distributed throughout the body. That's what the fact is, and the person in Krishna consciousness, they know this fact very well. They realize this, and that's why they are in Krishna consciousness. They don't see anyone separate from Krishna, because one who works in Krishna consciousness is servant to all. He considers himself that I am servant of everyone, because everyone is children of Krishna. So I am serving them as children of Krishna. He is very dear to everyone, and therefore he becomes very dear to everyone. And of course, even in material world, servants are very dear because they can do something for us. Similarly, if we serve everyone thinking Krishna in their heart, or thinking them as part and parcel of Krishna, according to the knowledge provided by our Supreme Father, we become dear to everyone. And because everyone is satisfied by his work, he is pure in consciousness. So he renders service to everyone, and therefore everyone is satisfied. And that is possible only because his consciousness is pure. He's thinking in the right direction, that everyone connected with our Supreme Father. Therefore, we can serve them that way. So because he is pure in consciousness, his mind is completely controlled. So he is pure. He's thinking that everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. Therefore, his mind is completely controlled. Because he is thinking that we have to serve Krishna from our mind also. Krishna said in Gita that give me your mind. He says, Man mana bhav mat bhakto majjaji mam namaskuru. He doesn't say majjaji mam namaskuru and then man mana bhav. No. He said first man mana bhav. Give your mind to me. Give your man to me. Man mana bhav. Become make your mind according to my orders. Man mana bhav. So he said man mana bhav first. Man mana bhav mad bhakto. And then become my devotee. Man mana bhav mad bhakto majjaji. And then worship me. So first we have to give our mind to Krishna. Because it is Krishna's energy. And the person who is pure in consciousness, he thinks that way, and therefore his mind is completely controlled, because he is utilizing even his mind in the service of Krishna. And because his mind is controlled, his senses are controlled. In Gita, Krishna says, when mind collaborates with any of the senses, we are in trouble. When our nose wants to smell a pricey perfume, and if the nose collaborates with the mind, then we are in the trouble. Then we have to buy that perfume. So that's how these organs, these senses work. When eyes want to see something and it collaborates with our mind, then we think about that thing again and again. And then that sense organ starts working. So if our mind is not controlled, our senses are not controlled. And this is already explained in Gita. So now here we can go backward and think, analyze that way, because his mind is controlled, his senses are controlled. Once our mind is controlled, we can control our senses. That we can think all the time that we should not eat anything which is not offered to Krishna. And once mind is controlled, then we don't eat it. Even, like on Ekadasi day, we think that today is Ekadasi, we have to survive only on fruits and vegetable fruits and water and milk. We don't demand for grains and beans. So that's controlled mind. Because his mind is always fixed on Krishna, there is no chance of being deviated from Krishna. So he is man mana bhav mad bhakto. He became devotee because he gave his mind to Krishna. Because, somewhere else it says, Jen ken prakarena mana Krishna nivesa. Nivesa. Nivesa means we say investment. Nives. So that word Krishna uses not in Bhagavad Gita, I think it's from Bhagavatam. Jen ken prakarena mana Krishna nivesat. I might be wrong, maybe it's from somewhere else. Mana Krishna nivesayat. So we have to invest our mind in Krishna, because mind is given by Krishna. Because his mind is always fixed are Krishna, this is the main first criteria. Krishna said, Man mana bhav mad bhaktu. Give your mind to me, because mind is my energy. And by mind, by giving mind to Krishna, we can control our all senses, because there is no chance of being deviated from Krishna once we fix our mind on Krishna. Nor there is a chance that he will engage his senses in matters other than the service of the Lord, because he understands clearly that nothing is permanent. Only service to our Supreme Father is meaningful. Krishna says, Imam prapya bhajas sumam. Anityam asukham lokam imam prapya bhajas sumam. When you come to this miserable and temporary world, bhajas sumam, serve me, bhaj me, or chant my names. We can understand by any way. But Prabhupada translated the bhaja means service, serving Krishna. Therefore, we consider chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra also service to the Supreme Lord. He does not like to hear anything except topics related to Krishna. That's correct. So the devotee, fully surrendered devotee, does not like to hear anything except topics related to Krishna, because he thinks that this is temporary world. We may have to go anytime, so let's utilize every moment in Krishna service, hearing about Krishna. Krishna said, Man manabhav mat bhakto, become my devotee. So how to become devotee? Do devotional service. And there are 9 processes of bhakti. Prahlad Maharaj explains in Bhagavad Mahapurana, Sravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Bandhanam Sakhyam and Atmanivedanam. So he said the first one is Sravanam, hearing about Krishna. So first we have to know our Supreme Father, and then Sravanam, and then Kirtanam. Then we have to speak, we have to chant. Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. And then we have to remember. Once we know, then we remember. It's not like, oh, we are remembering God. God is great. That's not enough. We have to know all the qualities of God, all the qualities of our Supreme Father, and all the opulences of Him, and then we can remember it. Then we can remember Him. Just merely saying that God is great, God is omnipresent and omniscient, that's not correct. And so we don't know. We are in illusion. We just say God is great. That's all. But how much God is great? Everything is explained in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavad Mahapurana. So we have to start from hearing anything, and the devotee does the right thing. He does not like to hear anything except topics related to Krishna. He does not like to eat anything which is not offered to Krishna, because eating anything other than Krishna prasadam is a sin. Krishna said that whatever we are eating without offering is papa. And according to duty also, he says anything we have to do is we have to do only jagya. He said jagyartha karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. Here we are talking about bandhana, entanglement, entangled. So Krishna said that jagyarthat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. Jagyartha karmano. Whatever we do, we have to do as a jagya, as an offering to Krishna. Krishna also says, Yat karosi jad asnasi jad juhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tad kurusa madarpanam. Whatever you do, yat karosi yad asnasi, whatever you eat, Yat karosi yad asnasi yad juhosi. Whatever you worship, whatever you jagya do, yad juhosi. Dadasi yat. Whatever you give away or donate. Yat karosi yad asnasi yad juhosi dadasi yat. Yat tapasyat. Whatever you see, tat tapasyat kaunteya. Hey Arjuna, O Arjuna. Yat tapasyat kaunteya tat kurusumadarpanam. Do as an offering to me. So that has been understood by the devotee, and he does not like to eat anything which is not offered to Krishna. We have to first offer to Krishna and then eat, then we are not entangled. Prabhupada explains it very nicely, all the things here. And he does not wish to go anywhere if Krishna is not involved. As we discussed the very famous verse from Bhagavad Mahapurana about Ambarish Maharaj. Wherever he was going to Krishna Dham. He was not going to anywhere else. He was going to Krishna Kshetra, Krishna Dham. So similarly, he does not wish to go anywhere if Krishna is not involved. Therefore, his senses are controlled because he serves. Using all his senses, he serves Krishna. He serves Krishna's devotee. Therefore, his senses are controlled because Krishna is called Hrishikesha. Hrishika means Indriya, all the senses, and Isa means controller. So Krishna's one name is Hrishikesha. He is controller of our senses. So once we utilize our all senses in Krishna's service, our senses become controlled because Krishna is the master of all our senses. So a man of controlled senses cannot be offensive to anyone, right? So once we control our senses, we are not going to do any offense to anyone because we think that everyone is part and parcel of Krishna, and Krishna is happy by seeing him in everyone. That's what Krishna said. Once who see me all the time, I am not away from him. I am very close to him. He can see me anytime, all the time. One may ask, why then was Arjun offensive in the battle to others? So Prabhupada explains that was not he in Krishna consciousness? Arjun was in Krishna consciousness because Arjun was only superficially offensive because he has already been explained in the second chapter by Krishna that all the assembled persons on the battlefield would continue to live individually. That everyone was present before and they are present now and they will be present in the future because of the individuality of the soul. Either they will be present in this on this planet or in the Vaikuntha, but they will be continue to live individually. That's our eternal nature explained in second chapter. As the soul cannot be slain because our soul cannot be destroyed. We studied in the second chapter different qualities of our soul. That's proved. So spiritually, no one was killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Only their bodies were killed. So only their dresses were changed by the order of Krishna, who was personally present there. So Krishna compares this body as a cloth. The vasansi jirana niyatha bihaya namani grihana tinaro parani tatha sarirani bihaya jirana nyanyani sanjati navani deni. Krishna says, like we change our clothes by removing old clothes, we put up new dress. Similarly, when this body gets old, the soul goes to another body. So only their dresses were changed by the order of Krishna, who was personally present there. So whoever, yeah, therefore, Arjun, while fighting on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, was not really fighting at all. It was all done by Krishna. He was simply carrying out the orders of Krishna in full Krishna consciousness. And in fact, at the end of the war, they were all boasting that I killed him, I killed so many warriors. Then Krishna took them to Barbarik, I think grandson of Bhima. And then Barbarik told that I was seeing that with every arrow, Krishna Sudarshan Chakra was going, and then the Chakra was killing everyone, not Arjuna or Bhima. Such a person is never entangled in the reaction of work. So once a devotee does this way, such a person is never entangled in the reactions of work, because he does all the time, all the work he does for Krishna and his devotees in full understanding that everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. And Krishna says, this is the jnana, this is the sambandha jnana. He says jnana. What is jnana? Krishna says sambandha jnana. Sambandha means knowledge of relationship. Prabhupada explaining here, if once we understand the knowledge of relationship, that Krishna is our Supreme Father, and Krishna is in everybody's heart, it is Krishna's energy that earth, water, fire, air, sky, mind, intelligence, and false ego, everything. Mind belongs to Krishna. False ego and mind, intelligence, and false ego. These the eightfold energy of Krishna. Again, Krishna said, Jiva Bhuta Mahabaho, Yadeham Dharete Jagat. Even he said this soul, the Jiva, the soul which is sitting in Jiva's heart, it is my Jiva Bhuta Mahabaho. This is also my energy. So we are marginal energy. Sometimes we are spiritual, sometimes we are material. Like when we come in contact with material matter, we behave like materialistic people. We behave like matter. But when we are in Krishna's association, we behave like a spiritual being. So that's why we are called marginal potency. Krishna says there is another superior energy of mind, which is Jiva. Jiva Bhuta Mahabaho. Hridayam Dharete Jagat. So we are superior. Also Krishna says in Gita that these five senses, above senses, buddhi, and then man, mind, and then above all, our soul is there situated. He analyzed the Sankhya. Like here we read that here, one who knows that the position reached by means of analytical study can also be attained by devotional service. So this is very true here. Krishna says that dull matter, then dull matter is inferior, then our senses are superior to the dull matter. And then we have mind, intelligence, superior to the senses. And then we have our soul, which is sitting on the top with the super soul. So once we know all this, like here, Krishna says analytical, this is an analytical study, Sankhya. And that can be attained by that understanding can be attained by devotional service also. Once we do service to Krishna and his devotee, we understand all this, that everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. So that's the main thing, that once we know that, then such a person is never entangled in the reaction of work. So only knowing is not enough. We have to work. We have to work for Krishna. Like Prabhupada showed, you were working for Krishna. He showed how we can work for Krishna. He established so many temples, but he has not claimed even a single penny from that. There are so many of his disciples who selflessly serve and is still serving Krishna and his part and parcel all over the world, presenting the example that if we do that way, then we are not entangled. So yes. So once we, in a real way, once we understand either by analytical study or by devotional service, then we can get the same benefit, and we can understand that both are same. Like in Bhagavad Mahapurana, we see that Mother Bhakti has two sons, Jnana and Vairagya. By doing Bhakti, we get Jnana and we also get Vairagya. So Jnana means Sambandha Jnana. We get Sambandha Jnana with Krishna. That Krishna says in Gita that Sarva Joni Sukaunteya Aham Bija Pradapita. O Arjun, among 8,400,000 kinds of species, I am the seed-giving father. That's the Sambandha Jnana. Krishna is our supreme father. Krishna is sitting in our heart. He says, Sarvasya chaham hridaya sannivishtu. I am seated in everyone's heart. He also says, Iswara sarva bhutanam hridaya se arjun tichati. Some person says, oh Iswar, oh Iswar. They don't say Krishna because they don't know. So the knowledge, the jnana is missing. That's what Prabhupada gave us, Sambandha Jnana. They don't know that Iswar is Krishna himself in the form of Kshira Udak Sai Vishnu. Explains, Kshira Udak Sai Vishnu expands in innumerable forms, and then he is in every atom, in everybody's heart, even in atom, electron, proton, neutron. If he leaves, the matter will collapse. And like in the prayers of prayers of Mother Kunti, mothers of Pandavas, she says, you are Viswatman, you are soul of the universe. She realized that Krishna is not my nephew. He is soul of this universe. She says, Viswatman, you are the soul of this universe. She really realized that. So in the same way, once we study systematically under a bona fide devotee, then we can realize all these things. Like Krishna in Bhagavatam, to Uddhavji. Krishna explains Bhagavad Gita. He spoke Bhagavad Gita again to Uddhava. And then Uddhava could not understand most of the concepts. He understood, but he was thinking that how can I preach people? How can I tell masses? How can I tell everyone? How everyone can be benefited? So he said that you are explaining the Sankhya and Bhakti and Karma, all these. It's very difficult for an ordinary person to understand. Not everyone is like me who can understand Sankhya and Karma and Bhakti. So can you explain in a simple way? that how one can attain you, how one can reach you, how can one can reach spiritual world. Then in one chapter, in 11th canto, our Supreme Father explains to Uddhava that, hey Uddhava, the once a person started seeing myself in everybody's heart, then he can perfect his life very quickly in a matter of few years or few months. He said, see me in every living entity. The same way Krishna says in Gita, Sarva Sachaham Hridaya Sannivishtam. But we don't do it. We don't see Krishna in everybody's heart. You know, he repeatedly says, Iswara Sarva Bhutanam Hridaya Se Arjun Tatit. But we don't see. We say bad word to everyone. We envy each other. So we don't obey Krishna. So we don't realize. So that way, Uddhava was very compassionate to everyone. And he said, explain it to me in a simple word. And Krishna is Yogeshwara. He is the father. He is the father of Vedas. Vedas and Dharma, everything came from his mouth. He created everything. So that is Dharma. That is Gita. That is Veda. Vedas came from mouth of Supreme Person. Then Brahmaji spoke. Then Vyasji wrote. So then he explained in a simple way. It's very interesting. We should read that chapter. To Uddhava, he said that even to donkey or dog, we have to bow down. We have to pay obeisances to a dog and to donkey because Krishna is in their heart. Once we do that, Krishna promised that very quickly we will realize Krishna. We will achieve Krishna. We will get Krishna prema. And we'll go back to Godhead. But it's very difficult. We don't see that way. We see our colors. We see our dress. We see how our appearance is, what kind of material opulence we all have. That's all we see. We don't hear Krishna. Once we hear him, then we can work on the orders that he gave us. That yoga yukto visuddhatma vijitatma jitendriya sarva bhutatma bhutatma kurvannapi na lipyate. Like in Isavasyopanishad also it says kurvannapi na lipyate. That word comes kurvannapi na lipyate. There is a verse in. So it's everything is explained in Vedas. Also, everything is in summarized form in Gita. It's mantra 2. So mantra 2 of Isavasya Upanishad says that Kurumanneveya karmani jijivise sama. Kurumanneveya karmani jijivise sama. Here, Kurumanneveya karmani jidivise sama. Evam tvai nanyatetosti na karma nilipyate naraha. One may aspire to live for hundreds of years if he continuously goes on working in that way. For that sort of work will not bind him to the laws of karma. There is no alternative to this way for man. That way is bhakti way. Krishna said that Jagyarthat karmado anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. Anything we do other than the Jagya. And Jagyo vai Vishnu. Jagyo vai Vishnu. The meaning of Jagya is Vishnu. Whatever we do for Vishnu or Krishna is Jagya. Anything we do other than that will bind us. That sort of work will not bind him to the law of karma. The law of karma made by, not by Newton, it's made by Krishna. Krishna is the primary creator, our supreme father who created us. He says repetitively, Aham bij pradapita, but we don't hear. Here in the Vedas also it is said, and if we do that, if we do jagya only in this life, then kurvanna pinalipate. We can do any number of jagya. Once we do 99 jagya, then Indra will come and he'll try to destroy us. But if Krishna is our supreme father, even Indra cannot do any bad to us. So yoga yukto visuddhatma vijitatma jitendriya sarva bhutatma kuruvanna pinalipate. Like in Vedas, it is explained that once we do 100 Aswamedha Yajna, then we can get the post of Indra or something like that. So once we do 99, then Indra will not be happy. He thinks that devotee is going to be the next Indra, then he is going to not happy. But we can do like Krishna here saying that if we do devotional service, we are not bound to anything. The law of karma will not bind us here, as it is explained in the Upanishad also. So it is explained in the Vedas, here the law of karma will not bind us. And Krishna says here, Kurvanna pinalipyate, though always working, such a man is never entangled. If we do that way, then we are not entangled, and we can make our lives successful. We can get Krishna Prema. We can go back to Godhead, our real home, Golok Vrindavan, where there is no Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, because here we have all those problems, those four major problems: Janma, taking birth, Mrityu, dying, and then Jara, old age, and Vyadhi, disease. So we have to be careful and solve our real problems, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, by following the command of our Supreme Father and doing everything in devotional service and not entangled in this world. So I think I explained everything mentioned in this verse, and I would like to stop here to see if anyone is having any comments or questions that can help us understand this verse in a better way.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, I like your point that you explain that when we how mind and senses are collaborating. Like you take example of, I think eyes and the mind, ear and the mind.
Yeah. Tongue
Yeah,
and mind, ear and mind.
yeah, very nice, Prabhuji. It was very good.
That's what Krishna explained in the verse. I don't remember. Janmano tan vidhiyate, something like that. Krishna says that like a boat in water, right? It's going, and then it can be drive away by the wind. Similarly, sense organ can be drive away by the mind. So, yeah.
And Prabhuji, you made also one thing that, I mean, uh, moment we start seeing Krishna in everyone, then we go back to Godhead, right, Prabhuji?
Yes.
So so what I mean from the practicality perspective, what that means? Can you explain, Prabhuji? Like seeing Krishna in everyone, like
So
we are working with sometime devotee, sometime karmi people. We go to office or we go to some business. We meet lots
yeah,
of say human form. Sometimes we see animals, birds, like right. So how do we do that?
yeah. I mean, it's Prabhupada explained that we have to surrender. So that means we have to be fully surrendered to Krishna. And that's what the gist of Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Saranam Varja. Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshishami Masucha. I mean, we need to work, but we need to see Krishna in everybody's heart and not not hurt anyone, either by mind or by our voice or by our action. So, I mean, we were not trained in that way. We were trained as a karmi, and we never listened to our elders. That's why we don't understand this. So, like Arjuna explains that when elder person in a family will die, nobody will be there to guide, right? So it's not like we read Bhagavad Gita and our life will be perfect. We have to practice, and that takes long time. Like we do sastric study, and we discover the reason behind all the things that we do, and those things take time. Like in maybe 10 years, 20 years, 50 years of study. After 50 years of study, we will be able to realize that. So like Krishna says, it not me saying, Krishna says that, hey Uddhava, whoever does that, it's very difficult to do that. We can do 1 day, 2 days, 5 days, 10 days. We can do 1 month. We cannot do it forever, like 1 year. Once we do for 1 year, then Krishna will give us the knowledge. But we don't see that. Like, like I can give my example. I am a scientist, neuroscientist. So I studied brain in India, and then I came to Yale. Let's poke electrode in brain, in rat's brain, and then see what's inside. See, it's a, it's materialistic idea. I was thinking to become a professor by killing rats, and I killed significant amounts of rats, significant numbers of rats by doing those experiments. So when I read Bhagavad Gita, I said, this is not a good idea. This is not good work. Why kill rats? When we are unable to cure diseases. It's very true. Krishna says, Janma, taking birth, Mrityu, dying, Jara, getting old, getting disease. We cannot solve these problems, no matter how big scientist we are. I just got an email that there was a neurologist at Cornell. He died. I think he died at the age of 81. See, he was a neurologist. He might have promised several things, that, oh, we are going to cure this, we are going to cure that. No, we are not going to cure anything. We are not going to cure anything. So why kill these innocent rats, right? Then I read, then I quit that job. I got another job. Now I cannot go back to that job. Even some people say, oh, you can go get that job. No, I don't want to get that job. Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Mahapuran, 10th canto, to Muchkunda Maharaj. Muchkunda Maharaj killed so many animals because he was a Kshatriya. and he killed so many animals because they say, oh, I'm Kshatriya, I have to fight, so let's kill this deer, let's kill this tiger, and show our prowess, our power. So Krishna said clearly that you kill so many animals, so in the next birth, you will be born in a Brahmana's family or Vaishnava's family, and then you will do devotional service, and then you will come to me. So there is no shortcut. Of course, Krishna can do anything. Krishna can have mercy, and he can take us back to Godhead with the help of our spiritual masters like Prabhupada. But we should get teachings from these, from the scripture, especially from Krishna's mouth, which is coming from Krishna's mouth. He told clearly to the king that you killed so many animals, so I cannot give you liberation right now. So we kill animal per dollar, right? And so I give example of my father. So we had 4 children when we came to America, and then we have another one, 5 here. He was born here. So then all 4 children were managed by my father and my mother, and they were not earning dollars. Merely they were earning like thousands of my salary currently. So they were also surviving. They managed to raise 4 children. So it is not necessary to kill animals to get to survive, or to do anything which is contrary to teachings of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavad Mahapurana. So we can think that way. We have to act on that. It's difficult, Prabhuji, to see Krishna in everybody's heart, everywhere we see politics and all that thing. But once we study Shastra, we hear from realized devotee, then things become clear with the knowledge. Krishna says, "Nai jnanena sadrisam pavitram iha vidyate." Nothing is purer than the knowledge. And which knowledge is that? Nai jnanena sadrisam pavitram. It's not the knowledge of like doing some scientific studies or something. It's the sambandha jnana. Like Prabhupada gave example, like an elephant is eating. Elephant eats like a 40 kg, 50 kg, maybe 100 kg. And that elephant is not doing any job. So Krishna is our Supreme Father. He arranged everything. All we need to practice what he said. It's very difficult. I'm not saying it's easy, but we have to adapt one point at a time, one verse at a time. Is that explains, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji, I think,
Yeah.
truly, it's difficult, definitely.
Yeah, but we have to do one step at a time.
Got it. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Any other comments or questions?
Nice explanations, Prabhu, that we really don't need much
Yeah, exactly, Mata.
if you're Krishna conscious.
Once we follow Ayurveda, principles of Ayurveda, we don't get any disease. I have seen, physicians who live like 100 years. Here people die at 70, 80. You see, the neurologist died at 70 years of age. What kind of neurologist he was, right?
Mm.
He claimed to be top doctor in the world. Then they died. They say, "Oh, eat everything. Don't worry. Eat everything." That's wrong. That's totally wrong. According to principles of Ayurveda, if we eat hot food, I mean the food which has hot nature. I'm not saying hot food. The hot nature, they will get disease. If we eat food that has hot nature in the summer, we get disease. We need food that is cold in nature to eat in the summer.
Most of the world are misguided about the meat thing, that's,
Exactly, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, in allopathy especially, they say, "Oh, eat everything. You have fever, eat whatever you like and take this Tylenol. That's it." That's not true. That's not true. A scientist, a doctor in India, he was vice chancellor of some university. He said, no, that's not good. We are putting poison in our body. So once we follow those Vedic path, we don't need so much money, you know. Like
No,
I
the
have seen a physician.
bottom line is, like this verse says, we should
Yeah,
not do anything that's not related to Krishna. That's the bottom line.
exactly. Yeah,
That we should.
yeah.
It says
But again,
in the purport. It says we shouldn't
yeah,
go anywhere that's not, that is not, connected to Krishna. We
exactly.
shouldn't eat
I mean,
anything that's
what
not
we can
connected to
see,
Krishna.
what we can, yeah, right, Mataji. Yeah. I mean, what we see just infrastructure, right? We see a mall, we see school, we see university, we see park, we see beach. That's all we see everywhere. The same thing, little bit different. That's why I don't spend my money to go anywhere in America. I see everything the same way.
But it's very hard to be that, Krishna conscious, as
Yeah,
we all know. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
so like some I'm going to see my daughter, and that's not going to be a extremely Krishna conscious trip. Of course, I will try to do something Krishna conscious, trying to influence my grandkids, and trying to
yeah,
cook some prasadam. But at the
yeah,
same time, you cannot direct your life completely. You know what I'm saying? We still have some attachments, Prabhu. That's what I'm trying to say. But
yeah,
of
yeah,
course,
exactly. Yeah,
to
yeah,
the
but we have
degree
to
we
attend.
can, we should. But I mean,
Yeah,
little by
but
little,
Krishna's.
especially as we get older, we should get away from anything that's not Krishna conscious.
Yeah, I mean, not older, Mataji. There is no.
Yeah, anytime.
Yeah.
But more so,
Yeah,
when you're going into Vanaprastha and things like that.
yeah. Like the better service you can do if the kids are smaller, like around 4 or 5 years of age or even younger, you can teach them stories of Krishna. You can explain them scientifically, so that will be in their mind, in their all their life. They might turn Krishna conscious in any part of their.
Later in life, yeah.
That will be the best service. Like our great grand spiritual master Bhakti Siddhant Saraswati Thakur was going to primary school, the elementary school, to teach children Krishna consciousness. So that's service we can do. Yeah. And in Bhagavatam, Lord Kapil Dev tells to Mother Devhuti that I wanted to tell, I forgot, that attachment. We have to turn that attachment to a devotee, to a bona fide representative of Krishna. So we should have attachment for Prabhupada, and then everything will line up. Okay, Mataji, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Mataji. So if you don't have any comments and questions, we can offer obeisances to everyone hearing this discourse. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindubhyev cha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo
namo namaha.
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की
जय, भगवद गीता की जय,
जय।
अष्टमंगल प्रभु की जय।